Hello, a special good morning to you. Today is Tuesday, the 26th of January 2021. My name is Kwame Owusu, so welcome to Good Morning Africa show. Apologies for the delay. Today, for some strange reason, there's so much traffic in town. So even though we set out early, but unfortunately we didn't get here on time. Well, not for Hajia. I think Hajia got here on time. Gabriela got here after 8. Gabriela. And Saka just came. But we are here. That's the most important thing. My name is Kwame Owusu. So let me remind viewers that we are streaming live on our Facebook page, which is Pan-African Television. We're also streaming live on YouTube, youtube.com/Pan-African Television. And also we are streaming on my personal Facebook page, which is Kwame Owusu, and on my Instagram page, which is Kwame Owusu. So Twitter at Kwame Owusu. So you can connect with me on all of those platforms and share with me what your thoughts are. I'll be more than willing to read the messages out. It's a glorious Tuesday. However, we are still plagued with an unending pandemic, which is ravaging the world. Ghana is no exception. Now, it is very instructive that we continue to educate ourselves about this COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 pandemic. The fact that the second strain is more dangerous than even the first strain that we experienced. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to ensure that people do not contract the virus? And even if they do contract the virus, how are we going to ensure that we at least try to get them out of it? We know that the numbers are increasing. According to the Ghana Medical Association's press release yesterday, it appears every day about 600 people contract the virus. 600 people, 600 new cases every single day. It's very dangerous, and the fact that this week alone, or this month, over 38 people have died. That's not a joke at all. And these people did not die out of natural causes. They died as a result of COVID-19. Now, this should send a strong signal to all of us that irrespective of who you are, irrespective of where you live, irrespective of what you do, you must at all material times protect yourselves. You must make sure that you follow strictly the protocols that will ensure that at least you will not contract the virus. Now, my panelists are here seated. I've already introduced them. We're going to be touching briefly on COVID-19, what we need to do, by way of education, really. So we have to educate ourselves this morning. We have to ensure that we continuously drum home the fact that we must, it's a necessity, protect ourselves and protect others from contracting the virus. Adia, good morning to you. Thank you very kindly for your time. Gabriela, good morning.
Good morning.
Saka, good morning.
Good morning, Kwame.
Saka is in black. I'm sure he's still mourning. Hadia is also in black.
Please, your nose mask.
Yeah. Hadia is also in black.
I don't have coffee.
I'm sure Hadia and Saka and Gabriela has a black watch, so yeah. Well, there's a bit of red and black in there. So you guys are all mourning former President Jerry John Rawlings. We're going to be taking you through his life and what he stood for and what he did for our dear nation, Ghana. Of course, every human being is every human being has his own excesses, but it's very important to acknowledge the fact that sometimes your good outweighs the negative. And we must also, let people know the positive things that he did for our dear nation, Ghana. And as has been described by many, they say he's the founder of the Fourth Republic. We will touch on his life and his death and the aftermath of his death. Issues that have come up. We're going to be touching on all of those issues here. But the other story that we're going to be touching on, Uganda court orders police to vacate Bobby Wine's property. Yesterday I saw that trending on social media. Ghana now recording 600 COVID-19 cases daily. Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings honored, lies in state at AICC, as Accra International Conference Center. Doctor admits selling more than 12 babies. The Hawk reported this newspaper. Now, these are very, very nerve-wracking stories that we have selected this morning for our conversation. And I want to encourage all of you to join in the conversation. It's very interactive, so you can join in the conversation with your messages, and we'll be more than glad to read them out here for you. Let me say a special good morning going out to you. Alaji Kasule, you are watching us this morning. Also, Samia Uku, you are watching this morning. Good morning to you, my brother. I trust. Yes, the one you know. Yeah, he's watching this morning. He gave me, I was with him over the weekend, and the man is full of knowledge. Depth fountain, it's a fountain of knowledge. Very, very deep. And one thing that he told me that is always going to be with me is that he said there cannot be lasting glory without a bitter struggle. And I found that to be very deep. So good morning to you, sir. I know you are watching this morning. And also Dr. Nasser, I met you over the weekend. Great guy by all standards. Good morning to you as well. Saka cannot wait to discuss the issue of COVID-19. And I think it's instructive that we start on that note. Let me start with you, Saka. COVID-19.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kwame. Good morning to our cherished listeners or watchers. And good morning to His Excellency, the President, Nana Danso Akufo-Addo, and Alhaji Bahumuyan, the Vice President.
I'm waiting for a day that you would also extend your felicitation to former President Mahama.
Yeah, and my felicitation to former President Mahama. The day I just come.
Okay.
Yeah. Come yesterday, we lost one of our patriots, one of the strongest pillars of the New Patriotic Party in the Owusu North constituency.
Wow.
Haji Adamata. She even gave some interviews sometime here. You know, she will be buried today.
Wow.
The what you know? Yeah, in Nima, yeah. Yeah. We lost her yesterday.
We lost her to what?
I don't know. I don't know the disease, actually. Yeah, she's gone. She's gone. So, yes. So she will be buried today.
She's my friend.
Yeah. She's Haji's friend. She didn't even know.
Wow.
Yeah. She gave interview to Pan-Africa TV. During the
She wanted
primaries.
to, she was contesting the
She contested the primaries. Yeah. She has been a long-standing patriot and then assemblywoman in Nima for a very long time. You know. Very articulate. You know. She's a nurse by profession. She does so. She has a private, you know, a clinic and all that. And the daughter is marvelous, you know, Umu, Delhi. Well, my greatest condolence. Kwame, we are talking about.
I think from all of us as well. So.
Yeah, they are listening. We are talking about COVID. I think this COVID is a pandemic that all of us wish it never occurred, because with its devastating effect, we have had a lot of prominent, you know, personalities lost. It's a pandemic, because if you go to the US, about close to 500,000 of their citizens actually lost their lives. I mean, about 47,000 and over. 470 something thousand and over. Almost close to 500,000 people losing their lives through COVID in the US alone. I think that it's not good enough. And if you come to Ghana, about 371 or so lives lost. We are been grappling with its devastating effects and how to control it or manage and live with it. Nana Danso Akufo-Addo has been given a lot of, you know, some of his in some of his statements, updates, he has actually entreated all of us to stick to the protocols. And apart from that, government has done its bit. Government has been able to promulgate laws that ensure that the citizenry do not flout, you know, those protocols. But invariably, I mean, as recalcitrant and intransigent as some of us are, people just, you know, feel delight in flouting those laws, even when the laws have implications. Because once you flout it, it means that it is your life that you are risking. You know, because this is not just any frivolous law or any law at all that you can flout and be happy. It is about your own life. Government says that stick to this policy, stick to this protocol. And when you do that, you save lives, you save your own life, save livelihood, and save others. But as we know ourselves, the delight with impunity to flout laws, to take the laws into our own hands. And when you look back, look left, right, and center, you don't see anybody watching you. you do the unthinkable. We've seen some of our bylaws in the various district assemblies. We've seen, even the Constitution itself. People just flout those things with impunity, and that is our bane. And I think that by now, if we were following some of these protocols by ensuring social distance, by ensuring that we wear our mask, by ensuring that we sanitize our hands and wash them, and not congregate in places that are so crowded, we wouldn't have been under this wood. But, as it were, people normally think that once you flout those laws, you are doing government. You are not doing government. You are doing yourself. And for government will have to do its bit. And I'm not saying government has been perfect, even though a lot of accolades came to Nana Danso Akufo-Addo as the 15th best manager of the COVID situation in the world. I think that it is not enough. We still have to, we all know our problem as a nation, that we don't enforce laws. We have 1,001 laws in our status books, but we don't enforce those laws. And COVID laws is not an exception. So we are not in normal times. We are in a situation where we need to change our ways. We need to ensure those laws that we as a nation have promulgated, those laws are enforced to the latter. We cannot sit down aloof and allow this pandemic to take us away. I mean, look at what is happening. Look at the prominent people who have gone. I mean, I don't know for sure, but the person that we are mourning today, the flight Lieutenant General Rawlings, I don't know whether it is confirmed, but he has taken COVID has taken him away. We've seen Sir John, we've seen a lot of prominent people. Victor Neiman, we see. Okay, well, I don't know. He just chipped that one, but Amakutufo, who was with the first director of the school feeding.
Nana Benjamin Pratt, one prominent, excellent individual. You understand? We have them in numbers. In the U.S., for instance, I mean, currently what's the name? That prominent personality who used to do Larry King. I mean, it's so devastating. So any opportunity that we can get, and one thing is that people might think that, oh, the education has gone, or everybody knows about it. Just yesterday, or no, 2 days ago, I was standing and somebody came so close to me without wearing a mask. And I asked the person that, oh, Charlie, give me social distance because you are not wearing a mask. And you might not know that, you might not know if I'm a carrier. Because I didn't want to say that he is the one bringing me the disease. He said, he took offense. That why am I driving him away when he's coming closer to me and all that? You see, they don't even know the implication. People think that, I mean, when you ask them to give you distance or arm's length, it means that you don't like them. Or you want to say that you are a better person than... That is not the case. Because the disease does not show in our faces. It's not palpable. It's not something that is visible. And therefore, and especially we are in the dry season. You see, some people have even, talked about the fact that we are getting it now because of the change of weather. And it's also a possibility because now everything goes, everybody is guessing. Because this disease, especially the second wave, is so devastating more than the first wave. you understand? And our scientists, you remember the last time another Danso Akufo-Addo actually told us that the scientists sequenced the genome, and therefore we know how the virus behave. But the second variant, we don't actually know how it behaves. Some people are even saying that they have about 16 different variants. And that is how difficult it is to study these diseases. And they have different symptoms.
Yes.
Yeah. They
have different symptoms, but their virulence, their devastating effect is different. it's completely different. So sometimes you might study one aspect of the virus, when it changes behavior, it's another thing altogether. So for us to be at the safer side, just stick to the protocols. Ensure that prevention is better than cure. And this disease has been shown to us that there is no cure. What is, because look, almost all the people that are dying are people with comorbidity. They have underlying, I'm not saying all of them, but almost.
According to the Ghana Health Services, are people reporting without
underlying condition? Yes. So it means that the new strain you don't necessarily have to have underlying condition to die out of it. So those who think that they are healthy, they are strong, and then can survive it. I mean, that is your message. So this disease is a serious one. It can wipe the entire world if we don't take care. And you see, it's like we play with fire. I mean, we have had messages from US and other places where they have seen the effects of this pandemic, and they say that it is not a joke at all. If we can even afford to stay home, stay home. But you see, as poor nation as we are, we can't afford even lockdown. Look at the last time we had the 3-week lockdown. Look at the effect it had on the economy. Look at how people were scrambling for food. Look at, I mean, the devastating it had on our economy and all that. And today, instead of us to have a stronghold of the virus by ensuring that we protect, because look, if we protect ourselves, the virus might not even be there. But some people are saying that, we should allow it, and then they said what immunity, herd something. Yeah. So that when it gets to its peak, then we will develop resistance.
Diminish.
I mean, I think that is a very dangerous method that they are proposing. It means that a lot of people would have died and all that. But one thing too is certain, that as a nation, it is not all that gloomy. We should pat ourselves in the back, because look, when it comes to testing, we have tested more than any other country in Africa in terms of per capita. At least over 60-something thousand that we have tested. And the first step in ensuring the control of this disease is testing. Because you need to know your status. If you know your status, then you can quarantine or you can isolate yourself and ensure that you don't, spread the disease. But if you don't know your status, that is the reason why when this whole thing, this disease came, some countries said that they didn't even have it because they were not tested. And if you don't test, you won't get it. You can die. But you see, once you don't test, the mortality rate would expose you. You see, if there are so many people who are not testing, but it doesn't mean that if you are not testing, you won't get the disease. The disease will be in you. And the number of people will die. People will die in the street out of the disease as a result of the fact that you have not tested them. And that is the reason why I'm saying that if you refuse to test, the mortality rate will expose you. And that is the reason why we have decided that we must test and we must contact trace. I mean, even contact tracing is a new word if you go to the UK and other places, because they were not, even US, they don't do contact tracing. They don't do it. But we have been able to, so if you get a disease, all your contacts for like 3 or 4 days are traced, and they are also tested. And we have been able to expand all these centers. We have expanded, hitherto we are having only 2. The Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research and then Noguchi. Now we have almost about 25 centers. The gene centers have all been converted into tests, and even private medical centers have are all now testing, including the airport and other places. So the testing regime is now robust. What is not robust now is the human beings are themselves. People decided that go to the market. I was hearing some lady saying that this disease is for the rich and all that. It cannot be the case. You see, but the correlation is that the people suffering from underlying condition are almost invariably, the rich men. And then when the disease get to them, because for instance, I mean, diabetes, high blood pressure and all those things. See, and then cholesterol. You know, you could see that. I mean, we even lost one of our DC chief executives, the MCE in Amasama. Yeah. Just yesterday, she was once the women organizer of Trouble Amasama. May her soul rest in peace. Through this COVID. And if you look at the size and all that, you could see that, I mean, sometimes let's also do exercise. Let's reduce certain things. That was the reason why Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo in his update actually admonished us to take the wadawa, to do exercise, to do almost all the things that he does. I mean, that ordinarily he is not the one supposed to be telling us. But he needs to emphasize some of these things for us to know the importance of ensuring that we live a healthy life. And for me, I think that the second wave is teaching us a bitter lesson, and therefore we cannot sit down and allow the disease to defeat us.
Well, there's a danger because our minds are preoccupied with COVID-19. We may lose our guards on other very important ailments. And on the basis of that, let me announce this good news to our viewers, that there's going to be a grand opening of Health Alert Clinic. And the clinic is inviting the general public to their grand opening. Now, there will be free consultation and diagnostics for hypertension, like Saka mentioned, diabetes, free prostate scan for men 40 years and above, free massage with machine treatment, free hepatitis B test, and many more. Yeah. Because the danger is that, Charlie, you may be walking, you may be sitting on another TV talking and walking. You may not know that you have an underlying condition.
I tell you.
You know, so I think it's important that we take advantage of it. It's free, you know. So they treat all, they treat all kinds of diseases. So only medications will be paid for. Okay, so if you are diagnosed and you have maybe hypertension or diabetes, you only pay for the medication. But of course, the consultation is free. And then the diagnostics is also free. They are located at Medina Post Office, behind, so it's close to you, Gabriela, take advantage of it. Behind the First Atlantic Bank.
Okay,
do you know that?
She knows there.
How do you know she knows that?
Oh, but I know Gabriela's place.
Yeah, so they are behind the First Atlantic Bank, Medina Post Office. On Thursday, so the program is on Thursday, the 28th to Saturday, the 30th of January, 2021. And the time is from 7 a.m. If you want to...
What's the facility called?
It's called Health Alert Clinic. Health Alert Clinic. So call them on 0242 51 8865. 0242 51 8865. Or 0242 51 8893. 0242518893. So call them and take advantage of this grand opening of Health Alert Clinic. Gabriela, let me come to you.
Let me say a good morning to my co-panelists and a good morning to our wonderful viewers. Kwame, the COVID situation is quite alarming. And as Saka mentioned, we are all very much aware of what the protocols are. But it appears that in Ghana, the challenge really is with the compliance to these protocols. We've asked the police to go out and enforce one of the protocols, which is mask wearing. Kwame, this morning I was listening to a radio station and I heard that apparently the law that the police are supposed to work with has expired.
How?
The law on mask wearing and the LI that was backing that program apparently had expired. And so all these arrests the police are doing, it's more like Takashi. But it's not their job to write the law. It's the government's job to enact the law or to extend the law. So that is point one. Now, if you're looking at the numbers today, prior to the elections, we had managed to come down to about 800 active cases on average. Then Christmas comes, New Year, then boom, 3,000. For the past 1 week, we are recording on average 647, 694, 648. Every single day is in the range of 600 and something. It's very, very disheartening. This month alone, January, 34 people have died, many of whom do not have any underlying health conditions. Of those who have died this month, sadly for me, I know 3 of them. One of them was even a year younger than me. One of my juniors in university. Her picture was all over the place. She's called Frances. She's a, yes, yeah, very lovely girl. Very, very lovely girl. This COVID, it appears it's we all say it's not respecter of persons, but it appears it's doing some serious selection, and you don't know whether you are one of the selected, one of the chosen. So it is best that, as an individual, you do everything possible to protect your own self. The mask wearing protocol. Every single Ghanaian should try and make wearing of mask their habit when you step out of your house. The hand washing protocols. Carry your own small sample of liquid detergent and make it your habit to wash your hands often. The hand sanitizing protocol. Make it a habit. Because you never know, as we are sitting here, we are touching surfaces and all that. I know your guys came to sterilize this place before we came here, so at least. But you go to shops, you go to different places, and you don't know what you pick up. So you owe it to yourself, first of all, to be responsible for your own health. This morning, we have 646 new cases of COVID reported, bringing our active case count to 3,613 today. Our ICUs are full.
I was going to go to that. It's crazy.
Our ICUs are full. Our health facilities are full. At the moment, I was told that because the numbers reduced, some of the original COVID centers were shut down. So they are now having to come back and reactivate them. Currently, the 3 top COVID, quote-unquote, destinations is Ga East, 37 Military Hospital, and Range Hospital. And all of these centers are packed. The Disease and Infectious Center that was put up by the private sector, they had to do some work on it. So I hear it will come on stream later this week or next week. And that will give us some few beds in addition. But there's so much traffic to the health facilities in Accra here. I don't know what exactly is happening in the other regions, but I know of what's happening in Accra. There are just no beds available. So every individual owes it to themselves. Now, when Saka was talking, he made mention that we are doing well in testing. We are one of the best in Africa and all that. That was in the beginning. This past, getting to the latter part of the year, we stopped contact tracing. We limited contact tracing to some small task force in the health facilities, and even their operations was more like a submarine. You don't even know what it is that what kind of contact tracing they were doing. The aggressive contact tracing that we were doing initially, the aggressive testing we were doing initially, all reduced. As we speak, health workers, contact tracers who were contracted last year from July have not been paid. The insurance of health workers have not been paid. So the health workers that we expect to put their lives on the line to protect us, as they have done since this pandemic started a year ago, the promises we made to them are not being fulfilled. How do you motivate them? And with these numbers that are coming, if you don't have people who love mankind and they are themselves frustrated, they'll sit down and watch people die left, right, and center. But we have borrowed so much money in the name of COVID. We borrowed that we are going to give to health workers, we're going to give to their insurance, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But all those things are not forthcoming. This new strain that we are dealing with is a very aggressive strain. Everybody should exercise personal responsibility. I want to conclude on something. You see this thing on my wrist. It's called, this particular one is called an M5. It's a health watch. It reads, it's a very small device. There are different types. It reads your BP, but there's a very important thing that it does, especially in the fight against COVID. That's what they call the oxidation level. Now, everybody's oxidation level, to be healthy, you have to read above 95. If your oxidation level drops below 95, you're almost dying. So as part of the COVID fight, what they used to check, especially for those who are asymptomatic, who can just go home like that, it is your oxidation level that you keep tracking to make sure that you are always above 95. And then if you see that it's dropping, you check into a health facility. Quick. So I've made it a habit to start wearing mine. Again, I used to wear it when I was attempting to go jogging. I gave up after 1 week. But at least it serves some purpose. And this one, now, you can get very, very cheap options. They sell them on Jumia. You can get an M3 for like 25 cedis. You can get a P4 for like 40 cedis. So if you go on Jumia and you go look for health watch or smart health watches, you get plenty. But make sure that you get one that can read not just your heartbeat and your BP, but your oxidation level, especially in this time when we're fighting a respiratory disease. And then also, you know, we're in the Harmattan season.
Sorry.
The Harmattan
a problem.
And this really is my fear about Harmattan now, because we have because we don't know whether this virus can attach itself to dust particles.
Yeah,
and the Harmattan is dust from the Sahara. So this part of the world where our research is a bit low on these things, if some researcher is listening, maybe they can help us to advance this argument a bit and see if there's a possibility that the virus, because in some places they said the virus can be airborne. So if the virus can attach itself to dust particles and exist in the atmosphere, then that one we must keep the mask on constantly. It's important that we have this one.
If it's not airborne, the air, the Harmattan can carry it.
And then spread it. It's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah, that one. I think
we
that
should expand on the research in that area also. The health researchers should help us on that. We have been for like 2 months.
I mean, not to politicize this issue, because I think we've politicized it enough, which is why we are not able to make a proper headway.
Yeah.
But you know, we complained severally about the fact that we didn't have ventilators, and the fact that we also needed beds specific to treating COVID-19. They are still not there. So we are having to use the already existing.
They have a cylinder, then they attach a mask to it. I took my niece to hospital sometime in December, and they had these cylinders that they drag. So they come to the bed, isolate,
You see, you
and they give you oxygen.
No, we don't seem to appreciate the seriousness of this. What I'm trying to say is that now if you have a normal respiratory disease, you can't even get a ventilator. That's the point I'm making now. You will die. Do you get what I'm saying? It might not be COVID, it might be
occupied by COVID people.
But yes, occupied by COVID people, you will die. And a friend of mine was telling me, he's a doctor, he was telling me that, Kwame, if you fall sick and it's just a normal sickness, please stay at home. Don't even come to the hospitals because the hospitals are riddled. So let me allow you come there. Let me allow you come there, Ajam, that too. Let me allow you come. Let me not take the wind out of you.
Because I think a good morning to our cherished viewers out there. And then, we are mourning the passing of our former president, Jerry Rawlings. And we are in a very difficult situation as a country. COVID. Just take from where you just started, that if you are sick, and I was sick, and I decided to isolate myself in my room, in the house, because I came from the north. I said maybe the dust, and then I was sneezing, and I said no, let me watch it. Then I decided to be reading, to revising the symptoms of if I say cough, and I say, I'm from Boga, the dust, maybe that's why I'm coughing. That's number one. When I sneeze, it's the dust. And maybe if I'm having temperature, it's because of the journey I went. Then I said, let me try the last one. Loss of the smell. Then I decided to put everything off in there and then started spraying. When I sprayed, I said, then I went out. I said, let me come inside and see whether I can. I said, okay, what is wrong with me? Then I said, okay. I started to be drinking warm water, did the neem tree, and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, I had a boil in the nose, so I couldn't do that. It was terrible. It was only yesterday that I...
but you didn't test?
I'm coming to that. So I called a brother yesterday, and then he was talking about what he experienced when he had a gathering in his house and somebody sneezed and said, go and test it. And then the person went and tested and had COVID. And then he also had it.
Wow.
So I asked him, how did you treat yourself? That he was advised to stay home. So they showed him the medication and how to. Meanwhile, I've already gotten this type of medication. I was even doing it in my house because prevention is better than cure. And then let me tell you, Kwame, the way we are even handling the COVID cases is even killing the patients. Ask me why. The way they are dressed. And then you see like some someone that is coming to take care of you in the hospital. I'm telling you. You see, and then the patient is lying down without the PPE, and then the doctors or nurses, the way they treat them, it's like. You see, no, I understand.
They can be carriers.
You see, but the issue is that we should find a way of educating Ghanaians. Maybe we want to show the pictures for people to see how devastating they is. But some people too are a bit scared of seeing that they don't even want to go to the hospital.
Oh, the people call the ambulance. They will come dressed like that. In the PPEs, their overalls.
So for me, I know all those symptoms were already with us. But what can we do? Is it that the government cannot intervene by giving certain medication, like a preventive kind of thing? Because I think that will be even cost the taxpayer lesser than what the government is investing in the COVID-19 treatment. Why am I saying this? Vitamin C, the soluble one. They look at your age, who are in this category. Because I read that after 55, there are certain places that you don't even have to go. Then I look at the politicians. Majority of them are above 55. Every funeral we are there. Every church service we are there.
They can buy their own vitamin C.
We are everywhere. So as we go, there are other ordinary people too who cannot afford to buy certain medications. So can't we look at it? Because I've read about the vaccine, those for it, and those who are against it. You get yourself confused. You understand? It's a bit scary. It's scary. So I think it is up to us as individuals, as families, to make sure that we protect ourselves. We don't wait to fall seriously sick before. I have a 3-year-old in my house. Every day he says, Mommy, sanitizer. You say it wants to be sanitized.
The way they say it is so nice.
This morning, when I was coming out, I was going to leave him somewhere. I saw him with 2 CDs, 50 pesos. And I said, what did I owe? The mommy gave it to him to go and buy nose mask. Why? Because his uncle dropped the one he used yesterday in the dustbin. Then he went and showed me the dustbin. So I said, Abdul.
Yeah.
So I said,
that's a very important point you have raised about how we dispose our nose masks.
Yeah.
People just throw it on the street.
I'm telling you. So he said,
it was reckless abandon. And yesterday, Ajay, I saw something that really broke my heart. I don't know which school that is, but they had washed their nose mask, what Gabby is wearing, and they had hung it.
So
yes, they were drying it. I'll look for the picture and send it to you.
You see, so
I was scandalized. I was scandalized. I said, what is this?
So I opened my bag.
To reuse, it means some people can even wash and resell.
I'm telling you. You know, that is why I stopped buying those things in traffic. As for me, that one I'll tell you the truth.
No, but even
because I didn't buy those. No, I'm telling you, because they can simply pick those ones, wash them nicely, iron them, and then put them in a rubber. And seal it.
At least they washed it. I drove to Makola.
And I just saw I come to you.
I drove to Makola. The women who are selling these things, like some 10 boxes, 15 boxes in stores, they sit down, they open the box, they pull out the whole pile, take the whole thing from the bag, start counting it like it's money.
Are you serious?
That thing is 50 in the box.
Why are you counting it?
Why are you counting it? Then they are not counting it. Then they put it back in the rubber, put it back in the box, then they put it down there. I said, hey!
They're killing people.
And that place, there's not proper traffic. So anybody who doubts me today, you can go and drive from Kentucky statue to King.
I don't get your point. Is it a counting process?
No, but the counting
unless you use your hands to count.
Counting the mask.
Is the 50?
Within the
rubber.
Yes.
Or they remove it from the rubber.
Yeah, that's what she's saying.
From the rubber.
And they use their corona.
And they count it one by one.
That is why the education needs to be
that's bad.
I was telling you when I was coming, I saw an officer of the prison or something.
Sorry.
Who was driving without the nose mask. But he was at the other side. When I was going to say, officer, where is your nose mask? But it's quite a distance. So I think we should try and imbue in our own younger ones. Look at a 3-year-old boy telling me that his nose mask. Because I was sending him to one of his grandmothers so that I'll be able to come. Then when he got down, he said, Mommy, my sanitizer, because he has his own sanitizer, and I gave it to him. And then maybe if somebody can, he will say, no. He will tell you, you've not washed your hand, don't touch me. That kind of thing. You see, but people think that maybe if they try to stretch their hand, they've forgotten that it's now COVID, and then so we as Muslims are not even supposed to be shaking people's hands. That men, you understand? So I think it is incumbent on us, because as Gabriela was saying, when I was saying that we should look for medicine and give it to people, we're talking about politicians can buy their own, but how many politicians are in Ghana? We should let's even give them 1 million people. What about the 29 million Ghanaians who are not active in politics? What are we going to do about it? So I think we should talk to them. Fruits, yes,
vitamin C,
yes,
and iron.
Very, very important.
And it is now the pineapple are even going bad because Niman talk 2 cities, so 1 city. But you can take 25 cities or then go and buy dog food for your child. Like I'm not killing somebody's on Indomie and then giving it a child. Meanwhile, you cannot buy fruits and give it to. Yesterday, I was looking for a school for my ward. I went around
and give it
to look at the schools, and I was impressed with one lady who was telling me that they have decided in their school in the morning they give the children fruits because of what is happening. And I was like, wow. And in fact, when I used to teach, early morning like this, when they're going to take their breakfast, every parent bring some kind of food for his or her ward.
I tell you, as part of the school feeding program,
I think as a nation,
I'll speak to.
we should
as a nation,
I'll speak to Hanan.
Yeah.
as a nation, it's a serious thing that all of us have to come on board and fight this disease. Whosoever brought this disease, oh God, we are praying.
Yeah, Haji has made some important points, but I think we should. I don't know how we're going to be able to do this because oftentimes we know. No, I'm talking about in the education. They say, oh, when you sneeze, dispose it off immediately. Sneeze into your elbow, the corner of your elbow, etc. All those things we know.
So if the
but how do we dispose this?
They are touching your elbow.
You fold it
into
a small piece.
If the things are touching your elbow.
But you see, but that is also a bad education because I watched a video. I think it was some Canadian doctors who did a video, and they were showing us how to even remove the nose mask. And then they said you don't do this. You do this. You remove it from here and things like that. Yeah. Do you know? And they said if you are opening a door, you don't use your hand. You use your elbow and things like that.
So you use.
And then even the lift you don't use. You use here.
Kwame, let's go slow.
Yeah.
You sneeze onto your elbow, and then you use the elbow to open your door and leave the virus on the door.
No. You use here to open the door. If you sneeze here, that's what they say. Well, I mean that's what they are saying. You sneeze here. Use your here to open the door. But I normally use here to open doors.
But there is another point I want to make before Ajia finish. There's another point before Ajia finish. Another point I want to make on this vaccine. I received somebody from the US, and she told me that she had vaccinated. They have vaccinated them and all that. But you see, instead of this thing be good news for us, but some of us receive it with trepidation. Yeah. That because of the conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be conspiracy.
Yeah, because
any solution.
Yeah, because if they even bring this vaccine here, I won't take it. Because look, Masa, let's continue because this.
You know why? But I saw something on Bernard Monet's status. Okay, I think it's an old video.
Yes.
But there was somebody saying that they needed to extinct black people, particularly those of us in Africa.
Yeah, but I have
you've seen that video?
I've seen
that video. Are you aware that the blacks?
But that's
are you aware the blacks
because
you never know.
It went the other way around.
You never know.
No. The blacks are dying more.
Even the US.
Yeah, in the US.
It's because they don't have proper health care.
No. They are dying more than the whites.
No, the whites are dying.
No, the blacks are dying more than the whites in the US.
They don't have credible health insurance. That's
I don't know how we're going to go about this education thing, but we need to really educate people more. But you see, my problem is also the I don't care attitude of Ghanaians. And this one, let me be very upfront with you. Like people simply don't like
they haven't seen the disease.
Yeah, but that's the whole point.
If they have seen how the patients who are breathless are suffering
sometimes we should take people to the hospital to watch. That's the reason why, you see, as from time to time, you need to go to the cemetery and the hospital so that you will know that there is death.
Hajia,
you see, people think that.
I'm still staying with Hajia, and maybe finally, before we move on to the next topic, Hajia, it's rather very frustrating. Yes, I know that we have to enforce the law, etc. But I've seen videos of military people shipping people on the streets. Does that solve any problem? One would have thought that, listen, this is all an attempt to educate people, right, and to make sure that people follow the protocols and adhere to the precautions, etc. My thinking was this, that why don't you make available nose masks, for instance, to those police people and military people who are on the streets, ensuring enforceability of the law, right? To give people, when they find out they are not wearing nose masks, just give them one.
To pay or free?
Pardon?
To pay for it or free?
No,
I'm just asking.
For free.
I wanted to say something.
For free.
Okay.
For free, because look, if the box, how much is the box?
It's not practicable.
Let me tell you.
What you are saying?
Let me tell you.
Let me tell you. People will mass up
let me tell you.
People
but you see, Saka, with this kind of attitude,
mask, we'll put them in there.
It's a good idea. Let me come in. It's a good idea.
But this is also a conspiracy theory because
I remember,
you cannot.
I remember the first time.
Yes, please.
Some of the policemen and the soldiers were even talking to people on the street. I remember this woman who was that she is a preacher or something. She had the guts to tell the people that she went.
Yeah, she went.
Yes, Christ, so in such cases, if the policeman or maybe the military man is not somebody who can control his response, he will lash her. Even though I don't support lashing of people on the street, but for crying out, why do we behave like, excuse my language, animals?
Like fools.
Okay. These things have derivatives, its own derivatives. And the derivatives are as a result of how we even went about our politics, for instance. Look, we try so hard to gloss over this issue. But the reality is that the voter registration exercise, the election, etc., created the impression about
Christmas,
for instance.
After the
created the impression as though there was nothing here.
There was nothing.
And it's something when you're talking about this, we just gloss over it and just make it.
We cannot. I think we have discussed it here.
But the truth is that it is part of it.
The elections, what have you, and not just that, the gatherings, the funerals are all parts of the and even the churches, the mosques.
Exactly. Because we have relaxed.
We have relaxed because when we go to the mosque,
we took things for granted.
We have a mosque in our house in Bolga. Strictly by Kwame, if you don't have a nose mask, you cannot enter. Especially this second wave. No, if you don't have it, then you don't come.
A lot of the mosques, if you go, why do you wear mask? You look
a very big
odd.
Rumbo polytank. So there will not be shortage of water for you to say that you do. And then there's just somebody standing by.
But every Muslim, you wash your hands before you go. So that one.
No, even before you go and take the buta, you have to.
We use the same buta. All the 1,000 people come use the same.
So you have to.
But do you know what happened in Saudi?
You understand?
You go with your own. No, you perform the ablution before you get there.
Before you go there, okay.
And then you don't use the same mats. Others are. You go with your own mat, the small one.
Well, use it and you pack it.
And you wear the mask. And do you know that this year Hajj, people above 65 years, they are because they are weak. They are not as strong.
Okay. So finally on this table. Okay, let me allow
I want to make some a comment on the military and the police
brutality.
Well, I can't say it's brutality because there are some of them who genuinely teach people why they have to wear the mask. There are some people who go to excesses and want to use the opportunity to discipline other people. That mix is always there. But I heard yesterday that apparently in Rwanda, they'll send you to the stadium. And then, yes, all of you will sit there. For the whole day, you sit down the whole day. They don't even allow you to sleep just because you're not wearing the mask. So you have to disrupt the people's normal day. If I have to go and sit in a stadium and have other things to do just because I forgot to wear a mask, the following day nobody.
Did they sit?
Of course,
they're on social distancing.
Based on social distancing, and they won't even allow the people to even attempt to not to sleep.
Okay, so let me explain.
It's part of their laws.
It's part of the discipline process.
Let me explain. You see, laws are made for people. People must necessarily respect the law.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and laws spring from a culture. If you lived in a tradition, if you lived in a village, and your chief told you that on Wednesday don't go to the farm, will you go to the farm? You won't go.
For fear
so absolutely. So how come that when government says don't do this, people deliberately defy those orders?
And just last week,
Kwame,
before I left,
I'll come to you.
Yeah.
We're coming around the police park or something. There's some watching we're going to buy before we start our. Then I realized some motorbikes were turning and I said, they've even crossed and we nearly hit one of. Then I saw police people. Apparently, because they were not in the nose mask, the police were stopping, so they were trying to dodge and run away. For your own good, put on the mask. So all of us, 3 of us were in the mask, but the driver wasn't. So he did his like this, just like Saka's. So the policeman said, "Oh, sorry, madam, drive and patrol." And then we thanked him and said, "Oh, sorry." He went away.
That's all.
Anyway, yeah, but
Saka, there's another thing.
You made the point of the law. And do you know the reason
that is
why?
not there. If you're working in Tamil, that is not there.
The reason why it's killing the US people more is because of this human right. You see, they tell you that there's a lockdown. Somebody says, "Oh, it's my right, freedom of movement." You see, they tell you don't do this. I mean, the person who was telling me, she is a nurse there in the US. They will tell the citizen not to do this. They say, "No, it is my right to do this."
My right.
And you cannot enforce those things. So the people are allowed to do whatever that they want. And that is the reason why they are the most hated.
Well, I mean, so I don't want to go, like I said, I don't want to go to the nitty-gritties of how, why, and all of those things. Now we are here, whether we like, this is our reality, right? People are calling for a lockdown, and I'm one of them. And I'm not calling for a lockdown because of any political reasons, because I feel that if at least we lock down for some time, we'll be able to do contact tracing, we'll be able to treat people, we'll be able to at least minimize the numbers so that the numbers does not get out of hand. Because if it does, like we intimated here before, we don't have enough beds, we don't have ventilators, we don't have hospitals, right? So at least we'll be able to manage the few cases that we have. Now, most of the countries have locked down. And I think Mauritius is still on lockdown. When the virus first broke, they locked down, and they've not opened till today. Probably in Mauritius now, people walk about freely without nose masks, etc. So they're even wondering, are you people still in nose masks? Because there's not a single case in Mauritius now.
So they are working with a nose mask, but still on lockdown?
Yeah, on lockdown.
So what
the lockdown is in, there's no flight coming in. No flight going out. Okay. So you are there. You get it? So
a lot of our new cases are coming from
and you see,
imported cases.
And in Rwanda, for instance, if, like, they have lockdown now, Rwanda is on lockdown for 3 weeks, right? If you're a driver, but of course flights are still allowed to go out. So if you're a driver and you want to work, you apply online. When you apply online, they'll give you a code. How do you call that thing? The scanner. That scanner, whatever.
Yeah.
So when the policeman meets you, they scan your thing, and then it tells the person, okay, you are a driver specifically for taking people from their homes to the airport. That's your job. If you go beyond that, you'll be arrested. So you see that, yes, it is there, but they are trying so hard to minimize it. And you spoke about the economic implications. I think I wrote it down here, Saka.
Yeah.
You spoke about the economic implications. No economy is perfect, the world over.
Yeah.
No economy is perfect. If you even look at Ghana's economy, it's far better, 100 times better than that of Rwanda. Because I've lived in Rwanda, and I'm a Ghanaian. And I know both economies. Rwanda does not have a middle class. It's just either you are rich or you are poor. Now the poor people are really poor. The rich people are really rich, but they've locked down. It affects everybody. Now in Ghana, why can't we lock down? Because it's even better for us, you know, if you look at it. Because then at least we have a middle class, we are able to get by, you know, stuff like that. If poor economies have locked down on the basis or by reason of the significant upsurge in numbers, why can't we do same?
Kwame,
yes, sir.
I think that when it comes to lockdown, the first lockdown that we did, it was for a reason. It was for us to study the virus. It was for us to study how it works, and to even sensitize Ghanaians that there is danger, you know, looming. And I think that you might not be far from right if we should go on another lockdown, because the last time we went on lockdown, the number had not even reached 1,000. Now we are talking about active cases. Now we are not even talking about, you know, total cases. That is about 60-something thousand.
Yeah, 61,000.
61,000. We are talking about even active cases being 3,000 and over, 3,200 or so. 3,600. Yeah. So and for me, lockdown is imminent. It tells people that the society is in danger.
Yeah. And beyond that, it gets people to start thinking upright.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it is as a result of people's failure to adhere strictly to the protocol.
Yes.
That's why we are locking down.
Yes. So even that one alone.
For instance, if you had put on your nose mask, if you were washing your hands, and the numbers were not increasing, nobody would lock down, correct?
Yeah.
But because of our own, you know, inaction or action, that is why we
But you see, the lockdown will also bring in its wake closure of schools once again.
Yes, yes.
Closure of hotels, I mean, hospitality industry, and even our land and, sea borders and all those things.
And the borders still open.
I'll come to you.
So the implication of a lockdown is so there. And that is the reason why you just don't get up and lock down. You have to, it has to be a thought through policy. And I'm sure because Nana Donko Akufo-Addo has already said that he won't take any decision without the experts' input. And I'm sure now they are looking into all these things.
Yeah, because if the expert, I mean, and yeah.
In Greater Accra is our biggest economy in Ghana. Accra is like the engine of everything. The last time we had a lockdown, it's replicated across the other regions as well.
Mm-hmm.
The
effect.
The effect.
Yeah.
Because you all come and buy their things from Accra.
Yes.
I think that perhaps we should rather introduce a district specific lockdown, so or a municipality specific lockdown, so that if the cases are prominent in, let's say, Ayawaso, West Gogon, for example, then you shut down. Then you shut down that area.
Oh, yeah.
You shut down those specific areas and don't allow anybody to enter or exit, and keep those people down, because you can't shut the whole Accra. On the airport, according to Ghana Health Service, a lot of the people coming to the airport are reporting with the new strain.
Yes. Yeah.
So we should rather go back to quarantining them 2 weeks. For them, they should pay their own hotel bills to be quarantined in hotels for 2 weeks.
I don't know why it's so difficult for
everybody who comes should go back into quarantine for 2 weeks.
Because you see, in Rwanda,
we don't know how the new strain entered the population, but it's already in the population.
And it's unfortunate I'm using Rwanda as an example.
Oh, no, it's not.
Very unfortunate. No, for real.
Anyway.
But you see, when you come through their airports, you are tested, obviously. Mm-hmm. You wait 2 days. So they will take you to a hotel, 2 days, for your test to come in, right? Once the test comes in, then they will find out where you are going. So if you are going to your friend or whatever, once you get there, that's the end of you. You don't come out again.
If you are positive.
No. Whether you're positive or negative, you just, for instance, if you rent, they have apartments. If you rent your apartment and you get into your apartment, that's it. Because
the way they would,
you won't come out again. That's it. You won't come out again. You get it? So what they do is that, the people who provide some of these services, food and things like that, they deliver. So you call, a motorbike delivers, and it goes back. You don't step out of your home until you have to come out to wherever it is that you came from.
With this
So I think that we need to
accommodation in Accra.
I'm telling you, I think that we need to redesign this whole thing. I would not fault the president if we are to lock down again. To be honest, I wouldn't do that. Anyway, let's proceed and look at the next issue, which has to do with one of our fallen heroes, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. And let's do that. The baby issue would definitely touch on that. I'm sure Flight Lieutenant Rawlings will not really spend a lot of time. Let's watch his profile on the show. Hold on. Let's watch his profile on the show. We'll come back into the studio and touch on that issue briefly.
Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings was born in Accra on 22nd June 1947 to a Ghanaian mother from Jaluhohe near Keta in the Volta region and a Scottish father. He was educated at Achimota School, where he obtained his General Certificate of Education O-Level in 1966. He enlisted as a flight cadet in the Ghana Air Force in August 1967 and was subsequently selected for officer cadet training at the Ghana Military Academy and Training School, Teshi in Accra. In March 1968, he was posted to Takoradi in the Western region to continue on his course. He passed out in January 1969 as a commissioned pilot officer. He won the coveted Speedbird Trophy as the best cadet in flying and airmanship. He earned the rank of flight lieutenant in April 1978. He was an efficient officer with a close rapport with his men. During his service with the Ghana Air Force, he witnessed the deterioration of discipline and morale, reflecting the corruption of the regime of the Supreme Military Council (SMC) at that time. As promotion brought him into contact with the privileged classes and their social values, his awareness of the injustices in society was sharpened. He was thus regarded with some unease by the SMC. He read widely and discussed social and political ideas with a growing cycle of like-minded friends and colleagues. On May 28, 1979, Flight Lieutenant Rollins, together with 6 others, appeared before a general court-martial in Accra, charged with leading a mutiny of junior officers and men of the Ghana Armed Forces. On May 28, 1979, Flight Lieutenant Rollins, together with 6 others, appeared before a general court-martial in Accra, charged with leading a mutiny of junior officers and men of the Ghana Armed Forces on 15 May 1979. There was strong public reaction, especially after his statement had been read in court, explaining the social injustices that had prompted him to act. The ranks of the armed forces, in particular, expressed deep sympathy with his stated aims. When he was scheduled for another court appearance on 4th June 1979, Flight Lieutenant Rollins was sprung from custody. With the support of both military and civilians, he led a revolt, which decisively ousted the Supreme Military Council from office and brought the Armed Forces Revolutionary Council into being. The AFRC, under the chairmanship of Flight Lieutenant Rollins, carried out a house-cleaning exercise aimed at purging the armed forces and society at large of corruption and graft, as well as restoring a sense of moral responsibility and the principles of accountability and probity in public life. Meanwhile, following the program already set in motion before the 4th June uprising for civilian administration, general elections were held. On 24th September 1979, the AFRC handed over to the civilian government of the People's National Party, PNP, and the President Hilali Man. On 31st December 1981, Flight Lieutenant Rollins led a section of the armed forces to overthrow the PNP administration. A Provisional National Defense Council, composed of both civilian and military members, was established, with Flight Lieutenant J.J. Rollins as the chairman. His interests include reading, building model aircraft, horse riding and swimming. Flight Lieutenant Rollins ceased to be a member of the armed forces with effect from September 14, 1992. He formed the National Democratic Congress, which contested and won the 1992 presidential and parliamentary elections. He and the party again won the 1996 elections. His term of office ends in the year 2000. He is the joint recipient of a 1993 World Hunger Prize. He had an honorary Doctor of Law degree from Medgar Evers College, City University of New York, and Lincoln University doctorate degree for diplomacy and development. He passed away at age 73 on November 12, 2020 at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital 2 months after that of his mother Victoria Agbotui on 24 September 2020. Rollins was married to Nana Kunedu Ajiman, who he met while at Achimota College. They had 3 daughters, Zenota Rollins, Ya Asantua Rollins, Amina Rollins, and 1 son, Kimathi Rollins.
So that was a sad tribute from Pan-African Television to the family members and every well-wisher of J.J. Rollins was honored and was in state. How do they even say it? He was lying in state yesterday, right? That's how they say it, at Accra International Conference Center. I mean, a lot of people are still in disbelief. That the man is gone, but well, look at him. He has not changed at all. Anyway, Hadia, let me start with you.
You let his party.
Oh, yeah. You see, the point is that.
No, Gabi.
The point, but you see,
talk and will add.
I agree, particularly also because Gabi is also Gabi has JJ's color.
Yeah.
So yes, Gabi, let me start.
So it's just natural.
Yeah, it's just natural. Yeah, Gabi.
That you start.
Where do we start from with Rollins?
I know, right?
You can start from anywhere.
He's what a man. Earlier, was it this morning or while we were sitting here, we were talking about the truncation of the Third Republic, and then Rollins now being the founding father of the Fourth Republic. The ironies of life. He's a nationalist through and through. He's a man who sought to reinstate fairness and justice into a nation at a time when impropriety and calibulism and all kinds of negative things had crept into our society, and people were wondering whether it was ever going to come to an end. He saw this country through some of the most darkest times, 2 times of famine when we were having issues of bushfires, through another load-shedding era, through, the tenure of Rollins. We can sit here and give a whole history lesson on the tenure of President Rollins. But I think that here is somebody who started off a soldier, a revolutionist, became a Democrat, gave up power, retired a statesman, and has paid his dues.
That's all.
And died an honorable man. He's paid his dues. People say that, there are some people who say that for somebody who led this country for so many years, he could have done better. I rather think that he could have done more, and not say he could have done better. Because when people say that you could have done better, it's as if that you didn't do, But in terms of education, in the area of health, in roads, in reinforcing rule of law, human rights, social justice, I think that he did his bit. As I said, he could have done more, looking at the number of years that he had to govern this country. But you also have to understand that at the time when he was president, the global economy wasn't like it is today. This current era that we live in is a very vibrant. There are more opportunities. Since he left office, Ghana has discovered oil. Ghana's democracy is now one of the best in Africa and considered a lamp on the continent, the shining star of the continent. We owe a lot to President Rollins. In life, nobody is perfect. And you'll never find, perfection can never be claimed by any mortal. And whatever it is that he came to do on earth, I pray and I hope that he fulfilled it. Because, as I said, he came at a time when people were not happy about a lot of things going on. And he and his people, he and his team set it on course and tried to put Ghana on a new path. Okay.
We have to cross over to Supreme Court, so we need to expedite this.
Yeah, so for me, that really is Rollins.
Right. Hadia, let me come to, because Saka has a lot to say, so Hadia, let me come to you.
I also have, where I'm sitting, and if I'm going to talk politically, maybe I'll veer into certain aspects of Rawlins's regime, both military and civilian, but I think that you don't speak ill of the dead.
Absolutely.
And I am of the view that, especially most people who are criticizing Rawlins, he did this, he did that. I quite remember when I was a kid in Boga, what the revolution taught us, what we saw about the revolution. But I just paused to ask a question. Kwame, did Rawlins do it alone? Did he do it alone? He didn't do it alone. I'm not a fan of Rawlins. I'm not a fan of him, and I don't hate him, but I'm not his fan. But people who criticize him, people who said this, they're still benefiting from the party that Rawlings formed. So I think, whether we like it or not, Rawlings has ruled this country for 19 good years. What I liked about the revolution was, even though a case you were following, the atmosphere of self-determination, the communal labor, the work that people were doing. You know, it was something that we're all following and were in love with it. But always there were excesses. Every day when I'm a Muslim, we do astaghfirullah, Saka.
Yes.
Because you don't know whom you have stepped on, the sins you have committed.
Forgiveness.
So you ask for forgiveness. So if you are asking God for forgiveness, why won't you forgive Gabriela because Gabriela has done something to you? Because Saka has done something to you. You understand? People were hurt in this country. But I'm sure even those who were hurt during the revolution, most of them are part of the NDC. Most of them are part of the NDC. And most of us are friends in the NDC. So I think we should all learn to forgive. Because if you say you are forgiving somebody, and then maybe you say certain things about the person again, where is the forgiveness in this? At least when I was growing up, we knew only upper region. Under Rawlings, we had upper west. We saw students going to work on farms, and that communal spirit was kind of there. But no human being is perfect. So for me, I won't sit here. I can only remember the jokes that he used to crack, and them, because I remember in 80-something when Boga, then they came. That was when he overthrew Liman. As for the June 4th, so I liked him, you see him in Boga with. But as for the Liman one, it hit me because my mother was actively involved in PNP. So it affected us. You understand? Because Igala and when they come, they visit our house. People are coming to our, all of a sudden they said Rawlings has come again. And then anytime he was in the upper region that time, there's a place called St. John's Park with the armor cars, and then I remember one lady was saying that when we came and said, he said, tinapa. Rawlings was addressing that people bring tinapa and then deceive us and take our proper nutritional tuna. That time he was sort of educating them. So when the woman got up, he said, I didn't hear anything, only tinapa, I love you. And it was even something that we used to joke with the woman. I'm not saying Rawlings was a perfect human being. No. But at least everybody has his butt, as some people will put it. But I don't agree with people who say he's the then of the Fourth Republic, because after all, we're in our Third Republic when he came to truncate it. So if you are putting the records, let's set the record straight. Okay. And we shouldn't do it and open some Pandora box where people will get a chance to speak ill of the dead. You understand my point? So for me, I will leave it there, and then let's all go and give our former head of state, the longest serving president of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Jerry Rawlings. And my deepest condolences goes to his wife and kids. Yesterday when I saw Nana Konedu on the front page of the graphic, I felt it. You can see that the woman is in pain. Everybody, anybody who loses maybe a wife, a husband, a child will feel it.
All right.
Death is inevitable.
Thank you.
And it is in everywhere.
Thank you.
The way we Muslims believe that every soul shall taste death.
Okay.
So therefore, if somebody is dead, you don't jubilate. You only also start thinking of yours, because maybe Rawlings died peacefully in Kolibu. you don't know where you are going to end.
Absolutely.
So we always pray that
that
we should die in our an environment that are surrounded by our loved ones. That's how we pray.
Thank you very much, Haji Amdatu. Let me remind viewers that we will be crossing over to the Supreme Court very, very soon because I think proceedings
is there any case there?
have started. Yeah.
There's another motion.
Yeah, Kwame, let me just quickly, because I mean there is no time. I think that when Rollins was a hero, whether we love or we dislike, we like him. His death shows that he was an epitome of a real statesman. I'm saying this not because he is dead and then we have to eulogize his positives, but you see, he has his negative, he has his positives, but the positive far outweigh the negative. So he has always been my hero, and he died a hero, a martyr. He died fulfilled. The reason being that every human being wants to die reconciling with your maker, reconciling with your enemies, or your adversaries. Rollins died reconciling with his political adversaries. That is MPP. Indeed, we have no problem with Rollins. It was a context of ideas. It was a clash of ideas that we had with him. And we are happy that eventually he and then the MPP reconciled, and then we loved him to the core before his death. But you see, this was a man that eschewed tribalism. He was not avaricious. He ruled Ghana based on his conscience. Somebody will say that there were excesses and all that. It was because of the exigencies of that time. The time that Rollins came into being, I mean, all the things that he was doing, if you look at his demeanor, you realize that he was doing it based on his conscience. Even the killing of the military head of states and all those things. To him, he thought he was doing the best of things. There was nothing malice about it, and he did not do it alone. And the period under review, I mean, the period then actually called for that. But you see, this is a person, after the ravages of time, even regretted some of the things that happened. And I know, even Kwame Nkrumah, there were certain things Kwame Nkrumah would not have done if he had, stayed long and all that. So if you look at the trajectory, the life of J.J. Rollins, you come to the irresistible conclusion that indeed, when we talk of leadership, he epitomizes that. And I'm saying this not, as an NDC person or MPP person, but as a Ghanaian. God is a man, just like Kwame Nkrumah, who cannot boast of this untold wealth that people, when they get the opportunity to sit on the throne, can count and count and count and count. We all know that Rollins had a genuine heart for this country. Maybe the modus operandi, maybe the people who were around him did not allow him to achieve all those things. But nobody can tell me that Rollins had in him certain things. You see, Rollins is the one that even popularizes the word integrity, and he was not just saying it, but he lived it. He was fearless. He would say it as it is, irrespective of whose ox is goat. And he had lived that life. And he has lived that.
I have to go to Supreme Court.
And he has lived that life. and
no, it's the Supreme Court is.
And he had lived that life.
When we are going, we cut it.
And he had lived that life until his demise.
Then we'll use it for news.
He had lived that life.
For midday news, I promise you.
He had lived that life of fearless. Let me just end with this. You remember when the 15th May,
get the news team ready.
When the 15th May occurred, the first abortive coup, 1978, was arrested and all that. He said that, leave my people alone, I'm responsible for everything.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, look, we've said all the things that you've said,
in conclusion, we need to mourn him.
Well, yeah.
He is a person.
And respect his legacy.
And respect his legacy. He had problem with his people because he founded 2 political parties.
Yeah.
The NDC and then the wife party, NDP and all that. And then NDC, you see, the reason why I had problem.
The wife founded NDP.
All right. Thank you, Saka Salia. You see, one of the things that I wanted us to say because of time, we couldn't touch on that. Is the appointment of Donald Danko Akufo-Addo and the fact that it appears that it's just recycling the same people. Why? Is it that NPP?
The men are not there.
Elevated. Is it that NPP? The men are not there.
They are not there.
But Saka is here.
The men are not there.
They should give Saka an appointment.
The people Akufo-Addo sees is just
Kwame,
he doesn't see anybody else in this country. No,
there may be issues.
So we're crossing over to the Supreme Court now. We've started. Okay, they are on recess. Oh, they are on recess. Okay. All right, they are on recess. Okay, so Hadia, you get your 1 minute to talk to.
I didn't even finish. But
I'm saying that your party. Why is it that your party? Saka. Why is it that your party?
Yeah.
I don't understand though. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm a
They don't have men.
How come that all the appointments that we've seen now are people that we've seen and we've seen their performance and
there are some 70 people who
I think that others can talk about
the
that.
people are not there.
You see, others can talk about
no, but I'm asking you, you are representing the party here.
You are not in the head of the appointment.
But what do you think is the problem?
Well, I mean,
I
can't say anything about some of these things.
Is that especially those who were maintained in those various things, I'm sure maybe in 1 year, 2 years, they'll be reshuffling.
Because, for instance,
repeat these same people with scandals back at the vetting committee.
The educational minister, education minister, for instance.
Oh, I think it's a good choice.
After Dr. Rabichum, I like him.
Is a good choice.
I campaigned for him. I like him, and I'm happy that he's been.
But Napo is not at energy. What's wrong?
Napo is going to energy.
What's wrong?
Napo,
Worry about the one Ministry of Finance. The repeat of
Kwame, one thing, let me Kwame. Let me answer you.
Let's do this. Let me respect Adia's call. I think it's important for her to touch on this issue. Adia, touch on
the politics is too much. I said, when I read about this baby for sale or selling of the babies, then I remember my own sister's trauma in 1982. She gave birth to beautiful lady twins, 2. Their color is just like you. Because you say you are 30, you are 2 years, that I would have said then you are one of them. Kwame, in Kolebu, my sister got up and she was told the babies were no more. Where are the babies that they've buried there? Till today, the thing is hunting her. Because she hasn't got girls, she has only boys now. She always tell me, Hadia, if you have the opportunity, say it on TV. But I find it difficult until now that we have doctors admitting to the fact that they are selling babies. So me, I'm going to be looking around because she gave it and they were living around Owusu. This man was from another country. If you knew, maybe you didn't want to, because you had another wife in your country, you don't want, you leave those children with us. But that time because there's no proper communication, and then the family was like, oh, please, let's leave it. But till today, my sister thinks the children are alive, and they are working somewhere. So I think the government shouldn't just do, oh, they've arrested them and blah, blah, they leave them. Please, let's trace history. Even because if my sister is in Ghana, she can come and give her own side of the story. And if records are properly kept in Kolebu, maybe we will see this our children.
Yeah, I agree.
It is a very serious thing.
Okay.
Wicked. Anybody who sells human beings.
It's evil.
It's evil. Yeah. They are callous, heartless. People who don't think, they don't know that the hereafter is there.
They will come after you.
You understand? So please,
I feel your pain.
I'm telling you, may God punish all those who are stealing babies to go and sell.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
And may they be exposed.
Amen.
I've never spoken this way, but in fact, that day when I read it, I was sick.
And many mothers are going through this.
Seriously.
Many women are going through this. They can't talk. They have no voice.
Yeah.
And also a lot of women who, because they're not able to have children, are also going through hell. And that is why they go to this kind of extreme.
No, but
so you can take your sister's daughter or your brother's daughter and take it. Because let me tell you,
your own sister and brothers are the ones laughing at you because you're not having children.
That's foolishness. Because it's not everybody who came to this
but
world.
that is a reality.
That
it's
is a reality.
But
let me tell you,
reality.
in our tradition, a woman, as soon as you marry, they'll give you your brother's daughter, because that is yours. You understand? They cannot give you your sister because we go patrilineal, we don't go matrilineal. And any family member who will say because this person is not your child, you cannot, then the person is an outcast in the family.
I see.
You understand? So please.
Thank you, Aja.
No, but when you go to
Aja, thank you very, very much.
We'll continue to pray for the expose
of these people who are involved in it.
who are doing that.
Ambassador Sampiele has sent us a message. He says the economic implications of a lockdown should not be a debate at all. First, in my opinion, the lockdown in Ghana was not properly managed because on the basis of our daily mobility, when the government locked down some parts of Ghana and left some parts of Ghana open, the natural consequence was disease migration. 2, we mobilized more than enough financial resources through World Bank and IMF interventions, including the use of the heritage funds and the establishment of a COVID-19 fund. Stabilization fund. Yeah. Respectfully, may I ask, where are all the COVID-19 funds? I think I've even asked this question on Twitter. The circumstances under which... Circumstances, I pay for water, my brother. The circumstances under which... I will invite you to my house one of these days. You will see where I live. The circumstances, you won't come to my house.
No, why not?
Circumstances under which the COVID-19 and its mutated form entered Ghana after the foreign visit of the president to Norway and UK should not be lost on us. KOD. 4. KOD, I maintain that in Ghana, politics is the pandemic and COVID-19 is a symptom. Nkrumah founded Ghana and Rawlings built the foundations of democracy in Ghana. Thank you very much. For your message. Now, this issue about this appointments thing. Gabi.
Let me say something about that. Then we go to
Let Kwame talk.
Kwame, you see, as much as I sympathize with Hajia and the sister and what she's been through, I'm very sorry that they had to go through that. The fact of the matter also is that there are some families who are unable to have children, and so because of stigmatization, they are also resorting to all kinds of cruel and unfortunate dealings just so they can have children. I think that the bigger conversation we should have should be about the issue of surrogacy and all these fertility options available to women, and to have a legal regime that protects the people who offer themselves to donate. When you go to Ashaman, from what I hear, the Ashaman girls are making a lot of money being surrogates to families who the woman cannot carry the pregnancy for medical reason or whatever reason. And there are people who are carrying those pregnancies on their behalf for them, so long as they have money. Yes. Money. Yes, as long as they have money. There are some who are there are some who are donating their ovaries. There are men who are donating their sperms to fertility clinics in Ghana here. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that is happening. There's a lot of things that is happening within that space. So we should let some black market activity take away the other options there. Now, Akufo-Addo's
because you see, I'm surprised that I'm surprised
the only people Akufo-Addo sees are his family members.
No, his family members.
The founding fathers of his party and their descendants.
I'm surprised though.
I think that mentality of how they raise people in the royal homes, you know, that same mindset he's sitting there operating. Look at his list. We're just talking about the people on his list. Recycling, so Kandapa, Cecilia Dapa, Kenoforiata. In fact, he really does a favor and took Atachia out. What's the other one's name?
Amakwata.
Family members.
And then we go to the founding fathers, Napo.
Nothing changed. Nothing changed. 16 or so ministers.
Oh, dear Lord.
All of them repeat. From that is bulky government, that cost him 500,000 less votes.
But you see,
Akufo-Addo did not learn the lesson at the election. Akufo-Addo has come back with the same names. And the unfortunate and painful thing for him, which he's not realizing, is that he's sending them all to ridicule because they are going to face appointment committee. And people are going to ask Kandapa about the pajama issue. Why are how a national security minister was being taught by a small girl with nails like turn around.
Anyway, my issue really has to do with the fact that you need to be
that Ken Oforiatta.
You need to be
Ken Oforiatta businessman.
You need to be
Ken Oforiatta businessman. Ken Oforiatta was sitting at that finance ministry there, thinking only about his family members and his businesses from data bank to enterprise. We're talking about COVID. The company that got the insurance
in Africa.
The company that got the insurance for this COVID contract was Ken Oforiatta's enterprise.
Oh, Massa.
So enterprise insurance. The health workers have not received their insurance. But Ken Oforiatta will happily sign it off.
Look, let me tell you something, Saka. My disappointment lies in the fact
of what? There was no roast.
You need to be a son of you need to be a son or a relative of the founding fathers.
So all of them appointed are
yes. Either of the president or the founding fathers of MPP.
The relatives alone.
So it means that all the other people who are following
then the founding fathers is 30%. Then all the MP people who have struggled.
Anyway, my time is up. Thank you.
Only 10%.
Why would you disagree? Is it a lie? Where is the lie in this?
Come to NDC and see.
Hold on.
You have to sacrifice, and then you'll be recognized.
But the point is that
nobody cares who's your father, who's your mother.
Where is the lie? Where is the lie in this? Is it not a fact? Is it not a fact that the president and that number of people are not his brothers in there? That the children of the founding fathers are in there? Is it not a fact? Is it not a fact? Thank you very much. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.